Proceedings, it appears, are picking up from yesterday. As soon as the Rajya Sabha convened for the day, controversial remarks by Union Minister Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti rocked the parliament. Yesterday, we saw both houses, repeated adjournments in both houses as a united opposition insisted on her being sacked despite her apology. And today as well, we saw the opposition trying to really pin the government in the Rajya Sabha, with the house being adjourned till 11:33. Home Minister Rajnath Singh could not make his statement on Sukma. PJ Kurian, the deputy chairman, refused to adjourn the proceedings despite the uproar, but he was forced to do that for a few minutes. Even the Lok Sabha, we know, are witnessing similar scenes. We have Javed Ansari joining us in our Delhi studios this morning for a lot more perspective on what we are seeing happening in the House over the course of the last 48 hours. Javed, Prime Minister Modi is present in the House today. We would imagine that to be really a strategy to blunt the opposition's attack that has been repeatedly questioning his absence from the House. But the question really is whether or not he himself will speak up on one of his ministers, because of whom both houses of the parliament are being disrupted.
Look, it's welcome. That it's a very good sign that the Prime Minister is now sitting in the House. But what's far more important is that he needs to intervene. There are two ways this logjam can be broken. One, if the Prime Minister intervenes and he just has to repeat what he said at the parliamentary party meeting. Apparently he used very strong words. He says, I do not approve of all this. So just say it to the public, let the nation hear that you do not approve, and this will send a strong message down the line. And two, the BJP can also limit the damage by at least withdrawing Sadhvi from the list of campaigners for the Delhi elections, because right now a mere apology, given the mood of the opposition, it's unlikely to satisfy them. So the Prime Minister has to reach out, and perhaps the best way of doing, he should use the occasion, the opportunity. He's sitting in the House, he should just get up and say that I disapprove of what happened, and this is very unbecoming of a minister. This will send a very strong message down the line.
We also have Deputy Editor Brijesh Pandey joining us live from outside the Parliament. Brijesh, you heard what Javed said. You see that being a likelihood of that happening, of Prime Minister Modi speaking on this contentious issue?
Well, as of now, we don't have any information on this regard, because, BJP is caught in a classic catch-22 situation. There are members and senior members within the party who feel that the apology made by Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti in both houses of the parliament, as well as Venkaiah Naidu also speaking on this, and later on MOS Parliamentary Affairs Rajiv Pratap Rudy clarifying on the whole issue. They are saying that the party itself has done more than enough of what is required, and they feel that if Prime Minister goes ahead and apologizes, it will give opposition a further ammunition to run down the government, and they say that it will further damage of already what has the party has undergone in the last 24 hours. So they say that that the maximum which was required of the person concerned herself, Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti, she has apologized. MOS, the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Venkaiah Naidu, has also explained the situation in the parliament, and as well as senior leaders have explained. So they are saying that as of now there is no need for the Prime Minister to go ahead and further apologize. They're saying the issue is over. Now if the opposition parties want to create a ruckus, then so be it.
Brijesh, this certainly has put a spanner in the strategy of the floor managers, considering they were hoping a lot more business to be conducted, but this unnecessary controversy of sorts really has put a roadblock on that pace.
Well, yes, and this is the reason why yesterday the Prime Minister in the parliamentary party meeting was extremely critical of these particular stance, and he actually went on to say that that the kind of good work which is being done by the Prime Minister and the party and the government is kind of overshadowed by these kind of remarks, and he specifically asked all the members and the ministers to exercise to caution extreme restraint while speaking on issues like contentious issues like this, and the Prime Minister and the party feel that it's unnecessarily giving the party and the government a very bad name, and there was no real requirement of doing it in the election of Delhi, where the BJP feels it's in a relatively comfortable position. So definitely this is a big letdown as far as the party and the government feels. But they are saying that the damage has already been done, and now they can only try to pacify the opposition and make sure that the important bill are introduced in both houses of parliament, and also ensure its smooth passage.
Javed, do you think the government really could use this time to speak to the opposition on a lot of the other contentious issues that have remained as far as several important legislations are concerned? We know that there is some sort of movement on the insurance bill, but could the government really use this time to its advantage?
Look, right now the government is in a very unenviable position. What was happening was that during the course of the day, the SP, the left, the Trinamool Congress, they used to create a shindy and the House and adjourn it. But in the post-lunch session, the government was able to prevail and pass its legislative agenda. Now, all that has been derailed because the House is repeatedly getting adjourned, and therefore, the first thing that they need to do is reach out to the opposition. Perhaps the Prime Minister should reach out, speak to them informally, maybe make a formal statement. Like I said, he doesn't need to apologize, but if he says what he repeats what he said in the parliamentary party meeting, this will send a very strong signal and dissuade all the others who might otherwise feel that they can get away with whatever they can. And in Parliament, there's always room for negotiations. There's always room for back channel talks, and perhaps the BJP and its political managers ought to do that.